adema Akosombo Krystal Palace ana edi eye enkomo Gideon awo eye amano so Gideon na pay wetimi kan ya mo atwe Gideon se ohon so ye
yeah ne am kapa me share with you for na emo Gideon Fosu not
Gideon Fosu. Okay. Thank you for the correction. All right. And me cat here for say ne CEO de ma Akosombo Krystal Palace Gideon Fosu ana edi eye enkomo na no about GFA elections and Yami on the 27th of next month and also Barcelona. Gideon, an me share a baby o copesa and toso abano, which is A Division 1 hono. And Dibia war on Nibiano, Papa Macado, somewhere nim Adonom, Gideon, Amonom, anyone Casa Gideon. Then a motivated one. A shows a Debbie. I feel the American that delegates at Thomas Waba, Namako, a year executive council hobby.
Okay, me that's it. First of all, I think that you can share the Miami football administrators, football club owners, but just to bring a bit of perspective, 4 years ago, we called for election. I think that even 4 years ago, Division 1 the 11. Well, okay, Alaji Gusa or Holaya Kukuya, Mark Ado, Enimado, Sami Enimado, Randy Abe. Now you don't for some time, but 4 years ago, we did fourth. I think that I lost out with 2 votes. And I think that if you take it from that time to and then, it is only Messiah Kobio. And the motivation is there even before the last elections and after, because I'm in charge and after the last election, I was given a role. I mean, the current administration headed by Kinku, I served on the finance committee, so I was a member of the finance committee and also a member of the G1 League board. And the company said, "You manage the Mahabia up until now." But who here can say, "Miniano, the football shaman connected Gideon." This time, I said, "I was trying to be into motivation is the Miami, Miniano, football administrators and football club on."
Gideon, what done kakama? I said, "Dream maybe ana Olani Kiki Kakaka be a woman, a voice and some say, Yano from Kakentiana, one man so kakra." Adi amame. And like you really said, no, I mean Ebano Alpha Jumadia who experienced it because Anya Shekrano, the finance committee, no, Adia also was binti, Abano Alpha Juma, and then football in general. I'm so then soon bintino, and then maybe one of my private too. But me question and say, of course, I mean say BB, especially our Air Division 1 level ho, and also say also bako. And I mean, you know, to Ghana, you say, about Division 1 Commodore, Yana Comopa, a tidy, be a pitches, a bosso ball, hooliganism, Yakobu, ya say, and only the major problem are confronting a Division 1. Now, the question I'm out for Bisani says, Senyamia Dom, na delegacy, Omukotoa Badema, a Gideon, so also called Exco Honoma. Then I also be before for Ben and out the Kokanwa. I am courteous, Yabo game a way, Yakobu way, Yakwe say, and I need pitches, papa, boss ball. Jenny, free a Gideon.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good one. First of all, even as my position as member of Division 1 League Board, and Yoma Bigwe from previous friends seasons, there has been a lot of intervention in terms of Division League Board and the club licensing board. Okay, in terms of which I say we have tried to meet the club licensing board halfway because, of course, which club or more need no back club licensing. Club licensing for no, I think they are doing a good job. Their job is basically to make sure that pitches are a basketball very okay for players to play on, and also the venues are safe enough for spectators to come and watch, right? But most of the time, because of ownership of pitches for clubs. No? There's always a friction between the club licensing and the clubs themselves. See, what the Division 1 League Board over the period have been doing is to try and be the middle lane, to be able to get feedback from club licensing board and also the clubs themselves so that we can meet each other halfway. In the money there, I think yes, but I think we need to move it to the next level. Like you rightly said, I think it was West when we were watching the middle league final. You realize that the guys were playing very good football, but because of the nature of the pitch, the game was not really appealing to watch. I think the next thing we have to do is to really step up in terms of pitches and the safety at the match venues, and that's one thing that I'm also passionate about. In Miko Executive Council, so I am sure that with some ideas that I will bring on board, and how to even get, persons that own pitches at Division 1 clubs above. So it has to be a certain collaboration. So, for example, Mad Park, right, belongs to the military. You have to meet the military leadership and draw a program, maybe like a 2-3 year program, so that they would also understand that, okay, Club A, Club B, almost immediately a pitch called this leveler, then what we call build, operate, and transfer. They can use this for a certain number of years, and then they would hand it over to the league. These are some of the things I think, a bit me aboa. Now, in terms of refereeing, officiating, I think that for me, I'm particularly happy about the Catch Them Young refereeing policy. If we all actually are able to, support that program and know that, okay, this is just to transition, then I think that we are going the right direction. In a nutshell, no, assembly the problems, no one can say why I identify that. It is for us to also help to be able to solve or to even make it better. Yeah.
Gideon, I'm so Casano say be amena mantini obetumi correct me. Now ka say club licensing board no kra ka ho bi na moko inspections no minim say bia o kan bibisa.
No, so Mimic at Division 1 League Board.
Okay. Enti, now the question is that other amount for complaints they say, I mean, you pitches moko inspections de bia. But you best start this season, no. Pitch I acquire inspection over here now to me say. A pitchy bad, ya one no acquire inspection ma. Ya jitu ma ye. Mo kwa dear pote. And now mo sha mo de cast pitch we dia ya between aboso but eventually no na akoba ne say we de nani senka ye timi malance me aboso bo. Dia na anam hwe.
Okay, yeah, that's it. I think in Komono Mimi no club licensing board, so I don't go with the club licensing board to go and inspect.
Okay.
Division 1 League Board.
Okay.
But I think I can try to answer your question. Like I said, pitch ownership in Ghana for now, for most of Division 1 League clubs now, they don't own the pitches. So they rent to play. If you want to make any major investment on any of these match venues, then it means that there has to be an agreement between the owner of the pitch and the club. And I think that is where we have the problem. So for me, what we need to do is to now start having conversations with the owners of the pitches to have a long-term investment agenda with them. So that Omobetia says, okay, so if I invest so much into it, or if the FA leads to probably make the pitch to a certain level, get it to a certain level, this is how the ownership arrangement would have to be moving forward. And I think it's a problem that we have all identified, and we need to find solution. Yeah.
Mr. Gideon, I have me major question but me started with a follow up to the discussion we're having in CCA.
Okay.
Sir, unya Exco. A room na say a decision on the table no eba say because of the nature of venue, security, bad pitches more for the spectacle of the Division 1 intino ye choose very very good venues Ehona ebe the center of a lot of Division 1 games. Na yabo matches no ewo. What will be your input on side decision on the table? Will you go for say yen choosing venues are meeting the standard? Na yema a lot of games enkoso and I say we should still leave it as maybe a one. Where will you stand on that discussion?
Yeah, good question. You know what? I think that we have to understand the Division 1 because I'm speaking because I'm a Division 1, club owner. So I can appreciate what you're saying. My position on this would be this. You can say you identify pitches which are good enough for us to play the league. The question I would ask is how convenient and how okay is it going to be for Division 1 club? If there's a certain arrangement that would make one Division 1 club not disadvantaged if we are introducing this policy that I've just talked about, then we can look at it. If there's a certain measure to make sure, say for example, the Mimi home Akosombo, not the page is not good enough, and because of that, as a semi combo me ball sports stadium, it means that there has to be an arrangement to support Akosombo Krystal Palace to now go and play their home games at Koporidia. Issues of proceeds for home games and all of that, clubs build when they move to other venues. All of these need to be talked about, so it's a broader conversation. You can't just look at it one face.
Oh, okay. I think so. So practically, let's say your body Division 1 no in zones. And let's say more Greater Accra Volta region. No? If, for instance, Accra Sports Stadium, Tema Sports Stadium, and that venue is chosen because of the standard now, your question will be at whose cost? And me also be OTS say okay. So if you are thinking about cost, doesn't mean say choosing between both game or substandard pitches so and convenient for the club. And say move it to a standard one packaging in BBIF you will opt for playing it because of convenience sake at a substandard pitch swana.
No. So you have to weigh the pros and the cons. Currently, as we speak, clubs are playing. You have I can speak to Zone 3 because that's why I love, right? You have about 4 or 5 clubs playing at the Tema Sports Stadium, right? CC and the Tema Sports Stadium need a certain uplift, okay? So if the clubs agree that, okay, because the Sports Stadium is not up to scratch when it comes to playing on that venue, then we can decide, okay, let's move the venue to Elwak. My point I made on this is that say you move it to Elwaka, there are certain things that the clubs would have to be supported in order to be able to move their match venue to Elwaka. And that's the broader conversation I'm talking about. But of course, we need to transition from playing games from game centers where OSHA or TV so are not OSHA or YouTube, whichever Facebook is not appealing. We need to, and I think that's what the club licensing guys are doing. In fact, Ayala OSHA from 3 seasons ago now, we realize that there has been a certain improvement. So I see that as a work in progress. But we cannot just transition suddenly. It needs to be, I always say to the club licensing guys, you change maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month to the beginning of the season. And you call clubs so say more pitches nearby inspected, and so I don't think that is the right conversation. The right conversation rather should be that okay, you be a season let's start preparing the pitches for the season ahead, so that it won't be like okay, you're change. I'm a year to time now. We won't mean and like you rightly said, clubs nekasa okay, you don't have temporal permission to play there, and then that does not also go well for the game. So it's a broader conversation.
Oh, okay. Gideon, wait, my last question, which is my major question here, me back into the conversation. Enra, yeah, interview one of more contestants, which was Mr. Alexander Abebio, and me put you this question to him about the concept of say Division 1 no, you say you bought a championship competition which is nationwide, say mum will serve as a competition in between the Division 1 no any Premier League no to prep clubs say or mobile Premier League anymore. They already know the nationwide where you bought your league, Where do you stand on the championship concept now? The FA no epese omode ban ebeboa anase emboa.
Okay, I like that. I think that we need to look at the modalities of the championship league and a competition now. To be fair, I'm not privy to this. I don't know what the modalities be, but if it is something that is going to, and I think from what you said is just to make sure that Division 1 clubs are being prepared for the Premier League, right? I realize that.
Exactly.
Okay. So if there's an agenda to prepare Division 1 clubs for Premier League in terms of traveling and all of that, I think that we can look at it in a different way. Personally, So what are the issues that Premier clubs are facing in terms of playing games? You would talk about the distances they have to travel. So you're talking about transportation costs. You're talking about accommodation. You're talking about, other logistics that they would have to, deal with before they go and play. So for me, it shouldn't really be playing a competition to prepare them. It should be trying to solve the problems that the Premier League clubs are facing so that at the Division 1 level, that problem is solved. Once you qualify for then it doesn't become a problem. So, for example, clubs, and I think this issue came up with your core conference. Clubs, if clubs are Division 1 clubs have buses, for example, and they are getting some form of fuel, support from the FA. All of this would go a long way to help Division 1 clubs to be prepared for Premier, so that once they qualify, they would not have any struggle playing the Premier. So there are several ways we can look at this. Really.
Okay. Gideon, you're not saying no, but so confident is so baby need there.
Ayala. I think Mr. T and Mikasemba football administrators and a football club will never control. And so you need to be having football conversations with football club owners and football administrators, and platforms like this when you are able to express what you can do, and already football people know you, they know what you can do. And in another room, the previous elections, I lost out with 2 votes. I allow me 2 votes, no one.
Gideon Fosu, you're not saying no pay for your time. Okay. See you the Akosombo Krystal Palace. So a member at the finance committee of the Ghana Football Association. And I could be in common. Have you Clement James and some